Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Anna and I'm a manifestation coach. This video is going to be the one where I answer your questions from my last Q&A post. So if you asked a question, be sure that it's going to be answered in this video. If you didn't, stick around anyway, because I'm sure you are going to get something out of other questions and their answers anyway. The way it's going to work is that I read one question at a time, I answer it, and then we go to the next and to the next. So if you are new here, definitely welcome to my channel. As I said, I'm a manifestation coach, and on this channel I teach the law of assumption as taught by Neville Goddard. I don't do trends, and my channel is not anything specific, so it's not an SP specific or wealth specific. I am talking about the law, going into details, but I do have videos, and I will continue doing videos on specific topics because they are very interesting and can be very helpful. But in general, the channel is all about the law of assumption. So if that's what you are looking for, you are definitely in the right place. Subscribe and stay for more. And if you happen to need any additional help with your manifestations, I do offer one-on-one coaching. The link is in the description box below, and let's start with the questions. The first question says, should I give up if it's been years since my SP even acknowledges I exist? That is not a reason to give up on your manifestation if you still have the desire. The reason something isn't manifesting is because you are doing something wrong. So you need to figure out what you are doing wrong. Maybe your focus is on something opposing your desire, or maybe you're ignoring a problem. Just because your manifestation takes a long time, I mean, if you are sick of it and you just don't want anymore, that's your choice. But I wouldn't say yes, give up, because if it has taken a long time, then it won't manifest. That's not it. It can still manifest as soon as you do the work correctly. So make sure to learn about the law, make sure to learn how it works, and know yourself also, so that you understand what works for you, because something that works for someone else may not work for you. I mean, the law works in the same way. A story and assumption needs to get into your subconscious. But how we do that, the process that we use to get the new story into our subconscious, can differ. And it can also differ from manifestation to manifestation for the same person. So my suggestion is to figure out what you have been doing. Be honest with yourself. Figure out what you have been doing wrong, because the only reason something is not manifesting is in our own mind. So it's not because a person has a free will to reject your manifestation, or it's not meant to be, and stuff like that. It's only because we haven't managed to impress our subconscious mind with the desired outcome. I have videos where I talk about free will and things about manifestation that aren't true, such as it's not meant to be, the universe wants something better for you. That's leave it for, just don't think about stuff like that. So it's not because of that. It's only because of, I mean, what I'm saying is, it's not because of anything outside of you. It's always because of something we do in our mind that a manifestation happens or doesn't. So, and that's great news, because if it's not working, you can figure out what you're doing wrong, correct it, and manifest it anyway. So whether or not you should give up, it's on you. If you still have the desire, I would say no, don't give up on your manifestation. If you just don't want to anymore, you lost the desire, then there's no point in forcing a manifestation, which still could happen. You know, you could still manifest something you don't desire if you do the mental work, but that one is entirely on you, whether or not you should stop manifesting something. I don't even want to use the term give up. So, next question. Hi, Anna. What do you do when so many things in my life are not okay and I don't know what to focus on because everything is important? I am deeply sad and cry almost every day. I am losing faith in manifestation. It feels too hard and overwhelming. I know that it can feel unbelievably impossible at times, and sometimes things can happen all at once and it can be really overwhelming, and you are going through a allow me to call it a negative period. My suggestion is, first of all, don't suppress your negative emotions. Don't ignore them and don't suppress them. There are ways you can feel. Let me see how to. There are ways to work with your negative emotions in a way that doesn't suppress it, because when you ignore and suppress negative emotions, that's one of the worst things you can do, because what that does is that it keeps it for later. So when you distract yourself, so I'm not going to tell you to go watch something funny or I don't know, whatever else that will distract you. When you distract yourself, you just keep that negative emotion for later. This is a very important thing, and I definitely suggest you don't suppress your negative emotions. Rather, acknowledge them, and also acknowledge that that is temporary. It's not, nothing is forever until you choose to keep an assumption in your mind forever. So that's one thing. Definitely important to not suppress these negative emotions. Acknowledge you have them. Like, I feel horrible at this time, in this moment. I actually have a video where I explain exactly this. I'm going to remember to link it down below. Watch that video. But essentially what I'm explaining is that allow yourself to feel bad for, I don't know, the next 10 minutes. Okay, I'm going to feel like beep for the next 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it is. When you give yourself permission to feel that, just feel that without going crazy in your mind that, oh my God, this is the end of the world. Just allow yourself to be negative for, or if you feel negative for an X amount of time. It's going to calm you down more than you actually imagine. And as for having many things to manifest at once, I suggest doing one of two things. Or you could actually do both, but I have two things that are sort of my go-to for situations like that. One is you take the topic that comes up in that moment and you work with that. One moment it's this topic, 5 minutes later it's something else. Whatever comes to mind in that moment, that is what you take and work with. Another thing is something that I would suggest to start with. This is not something that I would do for the, or you could, I mean, you could, this is just me. But I do things like this in a beginning of a period like this, which is take a general affirmation and go to that affirmation every time any topic comes to mind. So it could be something like, everything is working out in my favor. I'm so grateful for how things are working out. Everything is starting to work out in my favor. Every time you worry about anything, that's your go-to affirmation, and you focus on that, and you really, I want to say feel, but it can be difficult, but try the best you can to really feel like everything is starting to work out without figuring out how they are working out, okay? So things are starting to work out for you, and it's okay to feel emotions. It's okay to feel negative emotions when you are going through tough times. It's okay. just don't suppress your emotions, and don't also try to figure out the how. Use these umbrella affirmations or general affirmations. They can be very helpful when you are overwhelmed. So I really hope this helped, and I am looking forward to hearing a success story from you and everyone else watching also. Let's go to the next question. Hi Anna, I've been having inner conversations with SP in imagination for about 3 weeks now, and really feel his presence with me throughout the day. What do you think about this inner conversation, or these inner conversations? It sounds like you're doing a great job, to be honest. Feeling the presence of someone that you are having inner conversations with is just telling me that you are doing it correctly. Which means that you are probably not giving into the current situation, which is great. Plus, something else to keep in mind that we are all connected through our mind, which is how we manifest other people and how we manifest anything anything that involves any person, even though it's not a relationship you're manifesting. So I would say keep doing what you're doing. I want to hear the success of this story too, by the way. The next question. I looped my scene many times and it made me lose my desire. But I would still accept the desire if it came. Is this a sign it's done? What lets you know that it is done and your manifestation is coming? I feel bored with my desire now. Maybe that's good? This is one of the questions where I have a few extra questions to ask, because it is possible to lose the desire for what you're manifesting, but when that happens, that you don't care if it comes or doesn't. Some people describe that as having impressed the subconscious. That's not how I would describe it. So for me, when you have impressed a story on your subconscious, I would probably maybe say you lose the desire, but only because you now go from desiring it to the feeling of having it. So it is this feeling of satisfaction. And yes, it is a place where you don't really need to do techniques anymore. You don't think about that specific manifestation so much anymore. You're really chill about it, but it's not because you have lost the desire or it's boring. It's mostly because it feels like you already have it. Like you wouldn't, I wouldn't affirm that my hair is brown because I know it is. Like there's no point in affirming that. It's that kind of a feeling. So if you are losing the desire, I have questions. I have questions because I have never been bored with my desire or have lost the desire after it has impressed. I have, though, had situations where I was manifesting something and halfway through I realized that I don't want this. Like I don't desire it anymore, or it served its purpose. Sometimes I have had manifestations where one of those where I lost the desire and just stopped manifesting, and I realized it just served its purpose to figure out a limiting belief I had that I changed in the process. Now that that limiting belief is gone, like I don't need this anymore. It has happened, definitely, but in that case you really don't care and you don't continue. It doesn't matter. That is the real losing interest in it. Like it can go to hell if anything. But if you still desire it, I think you need to figure out if you actually still desire it or not. If you don't desire it, let it be. If you do still, you say you desire, you say you lose your desire about it, but if you still want it in your life, whatever this is, try to do the technique that you have done so far and see how it goes. Because if you have impressed it, what happens is, by the way, for everyone watching, this goes for every manifestation. Once you have impressed something on your subconscious mind, and if you go to this place that I was explaining before, like it goes from desiring it to actually feeling like you have it, and you try to continue doing the technique or techniques or anything, your mind rejects it, because it really becomes like for me, affirming that my hair is brown. Your mind will go like, why are you still doing this? I got it. We understood you are with your person, or you have your health. I get it. Why are we doing this? It's that kind of a feeling, and it will dismiss it. It won't allow you to continue looping the scene or looping the affirmation like it. And again, you still need to distinguish between that and laziness, not wanting to do it. But it's easy to figure out, because if you have absolutely no opposing thought about your desired outcome, or opposing stories, worries, anything negative, then there's a good chance it has impressed, and it's not just laziness. But you will feel it, like it just dismisses it, like, why are you affirming that you have something that you actually have? Why are we doing this? So I really hope that I answered this question. There's a good chance that you have impressed, actually. So next question. Hi Anna, I recently lost my precious cat. I've been manifesting her back. Some days I truly believe she'll be back. Other days I spiral, because where I live, people drive like crazy. So it's not very safe for cats, and I fear the worst. I keep seeing orange cats everywhere, but not her yet. I don't know if that's a sign that it's happening or a message to let her go, because she's no longer in this realm. I don't know what to do with sensitive subjects like this. Now, this topic of pets or people passing on to the next realm is an incredibly sensitive topic, also in manifestation. So I'm not going to go very much into that, or I'll try to not go into that at all in this answer, but I am going to treat this as an urgent situation to manifest something really urgently. So first of all, I understand your stress. Second of all, when you have an urgent situation like this, where you it's like manifesting on a timeline, like you need to manifest it quickly, and I understand it, of course. You need to discipline yourself. The times that I myself or clients have had to manifest on a timeline, like this needs to happen quickly, the most important thing is mental discipline. And again, like I said in in my answer to one of the earliest questions, don't suppress your emotions, because you're not helping by suppressing your emotions. I'm not asking you to ignore your pain. Tell yourself, like, it's okay for me to be stressed. Like, for now, that's okay for me to feel. When you have done that, do that as an exercise. Like, okay, for 10 minutes, I'm going to allow myself to feel this stress, whatever it is. By the way, this is not the only method to work with negative emotions. Do what works for you. Try this. If it works, great. If it doesn't, do something that works for you. The next is a mental discipline. And by the way, if we did this for every other manifestation, not just the urgent ones, everything would manifest much quicker. mental discipline is one of the best things you can do. And what I mean by that is to not allow your mind to convince you otherwise. Because we are humans having this human experience. And as you're telling me, your human experience here is that people drive like crazy. Your cat has been missing for a long time. These are the stories of fear that your mind comes up with because of a lot of things, because of, again, human experience, because of our belief in certain things. Whenever, do you know that I think it's a fairy tale of some kind, or a story, I don't remember where this is from, where a grandfather tells his grandchild that in every one of us there are two wolves. One is good, one is bad, and they are constantly fighting. And the child, the grandchild, asks him, which one wins? And the grandfather answers, whichever one you feed the most. And this is the truest thing about manifestation. Whichever story you feed the most is going to, I don't want to scare you, but that it's just how it works. And these wolves are your negative thoughts and your desired outcome. So this is where the mental discipline comes in. Don't give in to the negative, fearful thoughts, even though they can feel very real. Whenever that comes up, you replace it with your cat coming home, or has already come home. How do you have the fearful thought if your cat has already here? And feed that wolf. Feed the wolf that says that your cat is already here. Pet the cat. Talk to your cat. Do the normal things that you normally do. And also don't focus on, it has been a long time, it has been this, that. Mental discipline. That is really the best thing anyone can do for manifestations, especially the urgent ones. When I have something that I need to manifest urgently, maybe not something dramatic like this, but something else, whatever it is. Right from the moment I decide I'm manifesting this, I don't allow any negative thought to take place, but they will come up. It's not like they don't. They do come up. It's just about what you do with them. Either you give in to the story, or you shut it up and you tell the different story. And you tell it with focus on it, because the more you focus on it, the more your mind is going to, the quicker your mind is going to accept it. And also, I feel like I want to say this wasn't in your question, but don't doubt your ability to manifest. You are doing a great job. You know how to manifest. I mean, if you know how to think thoughts, then you know how to manifest. And you can definitely control your thoughts. You can do it, regardless of who you are. So I'm sure you are doing a great job with your manifestation. And again, I am looking forward to hearing your story about your cat that has come back, and everything is possible. So I really hope that this was helpful, and let me go to the next question. Hi Anna, I want to know about how specific we need to be when manifesting something. I'm thinking of your book Manifestation. Would our imagination / God not know exactly what we want without giving too much detail? Did you, for example, have to specify that you wanted to own the book? And if so, giving so much detail would then defeat the purpose of doing short focused images or affirmations on a loop? Thank you so much for guiding us through these teachings. I so enjoy your channel. Thank you so much for being here. I really enjoy interacting with you guys, and this was another great question. For anyone who doesn't know about my book Manifestation, I have a whole video on it that which I again am going to remember to link in the description, where I tell you everything about that manifestation. It was a very specific manifestation. I tell you the technique I used, how it manifested. So first things first, how specific do we need to be in our imagination? Does our imagination / God not know exactly what we want without us giving too much detail? So the way it works is your imagination is not manifesting what you want. Your imagination is manifesting what you impress on your subconscious, which basically, like in human terms, just means what you keep repeating to yourself or living as if, or feeling real until it feels like literally like it's already real and true in your life. So, and that is why negative stories manifest. It's not the story that you want, but it manifests because you keep feeding into it. Is that the right term? Feeding it? You keep repeating it, and you keep believing in it, and you keep feeling it, so it manifests, and it's not something you want. So your subconscious or your imagination, God, is not manifesting what you want, but it's manifesting what you believe to be true, or what you make become true for yourself. Therefore, when you are manifesting something, you can be as specific or as general as that manifestation needs. So for my book Manifestation, it was a perfect manifestation, but I hadn't specified that I wanted to own the book. So that's why it manifested the way it manifested. The way things manifest is like copy paste. Your subconscious is not going to sit there and analyze it. Is this what you want? Is this maybe this is better? No, it doesn't do stuff like that. It's your conscious mind that overanalyzes, questions things. Once it gets into your subconscious, it just manifests the way it gets in. So that is why if you want something very specific, it's best to be very specific. Otherwise, you can be as general as you want. Like, for example, everything always works out for me. A great example of this is, for example, when I'm dealing with a problem comes up, or something unpleasant comes up during the day, or regarding my manifestation that I really don't want to deal with, or figure out what I want instead. What I do is that I start affirming, I am so happy that this worked out in my favor. Oh, this worked out in my favor. This worked out in my favor. I am so grateful how this worked out. And I don't care how it's going to work out. Like, I'm not being specific at all. What I care about in that moment is that I don't have to deal with this. It worked out and I'm happy with the result. And it always ends up working out in a way that makes me happy. So in that way, you don't need to be specific. But if you need something very specific, you of course need to be very specific. My book Manifestation is a great example of that. For anyone who hasn't watched it, watch that video, because I give very specific indications of how you can manifest those very, very specific things. So it's both. You can do both. Both be very specific and be very general. I was going to say generous. Also be generous, but also general. So, next question. Thank you. You're welcome. Would love tips for when you feel like you have tried to manifest SP for a very long time. So when you're manifesting something for a very long time and it isn't manifesting, you need to stop for a moment. Stop for a moment and figure out what you are doing wrong. Just like I said in the very beginning of the video, when something isn't manifesting, it's always on us. It's never something outside of you. It's not about giving up on your manifestation. It's none of that. Stop it. Try to figure out what you have been doing wrong, because something is off, if something is taking too long. I don't believe that any manifestations should take years to manifest. I have had manifestations that came quickly, like that, and I have had manifestations that have taken forever to manifest, and it has always been on me. It has, for me, it has, by the way, all my clients, same stories. Everyone who has, for whom it has taken a long time to manifest, it's always been focusing on the 3D, giving into fearful thoughts, or just negative thoughts, or the stuff that you used to believe in. And it all just brings your focus to lack of your manifestation. And it can be very dramatic, but it can also be some silly things. It doesn't have to be like bad and serious every time. But it's always focus on something that isn't your manifestation. So it's either 3D stuff, old stories, old beliefs, etc. Or sometimes we have other stories, maybe general stories, maybe specific stories that can oppose our manifestation. So make sure that you're not ignoring those. This is generally what I mean when I say don't ignore the problems. Sometimes we do. And it's not helping. So when you are manifesting anything, it is very helpful to be brutally honest with you. What stories are you telling yourself? And just try to figure out, get coaching if you need to, if it's something important for you. But you need to figure out what you are doing wrong, because a manifestation should not take forever. But again, I don't want to make people regret anything or be upset with themselves, because in the process, you figure out a lot of things about yourself. You figure out a lot of limiting beliefs you had that you get rid of. So the process is helping you. You're becoming better and better and better. But really, if you notice that it's taking too long, figure out what you're doing wrong. That's going to be helpful. Take a break for a day or two and really be honest with yourself. Like, what have I been doing? Have I actually been doing the work? Or you know what you have been doing, and have your coach help you figure that out if it's needed. So that was that. And next question. Thanks for the Q&A. You're very welcome. Thanks for the questions. I have manifested a few things in my life, small things around me, but I am curious to know, is it possible to manifest my SP who lives in another country and doesn't even know of my existence? I have been manifesting my SP for almost a year but see no results. Don't know where I am failing. This part where it has taken you a long time, the same answer applies. I mean, you guys, you all do things differently. You all have different limiting beliefs, different stories, but still you, again, yeah, we always need to figure out what we are doing that isn't working. That's that. And whether or not it's possible to manifest someone who doesn't know of your existence, absolutely yes. It is possible to manifest it like it is possible to manifest anything else. I suggest not to dwell on the how here. I'm sensing a little bit of how is it going to happen. Your mind will figure out how to make your SP get to know you. It can happen in a million different ways. Don't try to figure that out. If it helps you, and by the way, for everyone who had asked anything about something taking a long time, if it helps, try to manifest in steps, which is one way of doing it. I have a video, again, of fully on manifesting step by step versus going to the end, how these work. I am going to remember to link that below. I know I mentioned a lot of videos, but I have whole videos on these topics, so I'm sure it's going to be helpful. just make sure to remember that when you are manifesting one step, it's only going to manifest that step. So you need to, when you get that result, you need to go to the next step and actually manifest it. This is why it can be very practical to go to the end, because then you don't have to take care of the steps. It all takes care of itself. But when you're stuck and it doesn't work, sometimes it even stresses you out. Manifesting in small steps can help you, first of all, gain your confidence, see some movement at least, so that you keep going and you take smaller chunks to work with. So is it possible? It absolutely is to manifest someone who doesn't know you. They will figure that out. Or you will figure that out. Like, again, you don't know how it will happen. So all manifestations are the same. Once it's impressed, your mind is going to figure out how to make that happen, because that's the law. And the next question, probably the last one. I'm going to check after this, but probably the last question. I am manifesting 2 SPs. One I already know and one I'm creating from scratch. I have listed the qualities I want in each. Good idea. How can I craft the fewest, most effective intentions to encompass everything I want? Also, the one I'm creating from scratch feels a little fuzzy. How can I make that one feel more real? Amazing questions, both of them. So, how to craft the fewest, most effective intentions to encompass everything I want. So, when you are starting a new, allow me to call it a manifestation project. I know it doesn't have to be like big, and it sounds worse than it is, but anyway, when you are starting a new manifestation, especially something like this that includes a lot of things, it is my way of doing it is not going to for example, one affirmation or one simple scene, unless it's very obvious, unless you have a very obvious scene that really includes everything, or a very obvious affirmation that includes everything. My suggestion is to affirm everything that you need. Everything that comes to mind, affirm. Or imagine, whichever technique you use. Do imaginal acts of any kind. Because for example, just to make the example more precise, you are manifesting a relationship and you're starting to affirm, I am in the most perfect relationship ever. And you have no idea maybe what a perfect relationship is. This is just an example. So you start affirming, I am in the most perfect relationship ever. Your mind will start asking questions like, what is the perfect relationship? What does that mean? And then you have to answer that question like, okay, perfect relationship for me is when we do this, when we have this type of communication, when I feel like this, when the person feels like that, etc. So you start affirming those things, that in our relationship we have perfect communication. Okay, what is perfect communication? It's when we it's when we, or you really like affirm it in present tense, that we open up, we are comfortable with telling each other everything, etc., etc. Now you have created an idea of a perfect communication. What else? In our perfect relationship, we make breakfast for each other, or we do this and that. So after a short period of doing that, your mind will have an idea of what it looks like. So you are not going to have to do this forever. So at some point when you have done this and you have incorporated or included a lot of things that you desire in the relationship or in that person, and then it will be easier for you to create a statement or a scene that just includes it, like because now when you affirm that, okay, this is the perfect relationship, now I know what it is. So now I'm affirming that I'm in the perfect relationship. By the way, this is again just an example. Maybe it won't resonate with you, but you will figure it out. So you start affirming, I'm in the perfect relationship, and you already know what it's like. So my suggestion for the first question is just imagine everything and affirm everything. And this is just going to be, for the beginning, a temporary. You're not going to, I am not for affirming a million things for every manifestation. It's not practical, and you can't keep up with it. Like, that's unnecessary. But when you are creating something from scratch and you have a lot of questions yourself, maybe how does it feel to be with a person like this? For me, what do we do in our relationship? And maybe it could take you a couple of days of doing this, and then you get an idea that I'm in the best relationship of my life, and then your mind already knows what that's like, because for the past couple of days you have been really focusing on all the things that you do in your best relationship. I hope this made sense, and I hope this answered your question. And the second one, that the one you're creating from scratch, the SP that you're creating from scratch, feels a little fuzzy. How to make that one feel more real? By repeating what you're doing. This is very normal in the beginning of manifestations, even if it's an SP, even if it's a very specific thing that you know very well, it can feel very fuzzy in your mind, and not just with the visuals, but with the whole feeling. It happens with me, for example, when I'm starting to, let's say if I'm affirming, I use different techniques for different manifestations. I do them all, to be honest. Every sense in imagination. A lot of times when I'm starting for something new, I start affirming. It feels like I'm talking about someone else, like unrelated. Like, what is this? What needs to be done in that case is to simply continue. Focus, repeat, like it's true. At some point, you are going to feel familiar with the thought or the images or the imaginal acts. So the only way to do it is to literally just persist in whatever you're doing, because you're probably doing it correctly. I can't, like, from what you're writing here, I'm sure you're doing everything correctly. You just need to continue doing it. At some point, your mind will accept it as true. That is also why, as true and real, it's going to feel real. That is why we repeat stuff. That is why we focus on stuff, because when you think a new thought, your mind is not familiar with it. It's like, what are you talking about? And it can dismiss it. That is why we have resistance to stuff. That's where, when negative or opposing thoughts come out, like, that's not true, you're lying. Your job is to say, no, I'm not lying. This is my truth. This is the reality now. This is like, you affirm what you were affirming. And it's the same for, it's part of the process when something actually feels vivid, real, however that feels for you. With repetition, it simply becomes familiar to your mind, so it starts accepting it, and that is where it becomes takes on life. I don't know if you can say that, but becomes real, like feels like something that is happening. Just needs repetition and focus. For me, it is important to do things with focus, because that's like when you laser focus on something, you block out everything else that is just noise. Everything that isn't your chosen scene or chosen thought is just noise. Block it out. And you do it best when you use concentration on your affirmation or your mental image or any mental activity. So That was the last question. Allow me a moment to check if I actually answered all the questions. I think I did. Thank you for all the questions, and I really hope that this was helpful for you, both for you who had asked the questions and for everyone else watching. If my way of teaching the law of assumption resonates with you, make sure to subscribe and stay for more. And if you happen to need any help with your manifestations, I do offer one-on-one coaching. The link is in the description box below, and see you in the next video.